And I, too, wanted to add my condolences to the families who are here today. As the holiday season surrounds us, where families gather together, our hearts and my heart breaks for all of you. But I also want to thank you very, very much for your presence here today, because your presence is helping us to get to the truth. And it's only the truth that is going to save future lives. So I want to thank all of you for being here today. And I wanted to ask one more time with regards to this risk assessment predicting 15 more accidents. And I wanted to ask the question maybe in a different way. Mr. Dixon, you've said several times that the buck stops with you, and you're the man ultimately accountable for the FAA. And so we've talked a lot about the past, and we understand that the past has to be fixed, so I want to kind of look to the future and say that if an employee had brought this risk assessment to you and put it on your desk, you're the FAA administrator, you were given that information, would you have made a decision, seeing a risk assessment, and I understand it's over 45 years, but that 15 more accidents could occur, would you have grounded the airplane?
You know, it's hard to Monday morning quarterback these things, as you know, and I believe that the individuals who were involved in making the decision were acting on the best information they had at the time.
But I'm talking
we're taking
about
action
you
to drive that level.
I'm talking about you in the future
risk.
now, and if you know.
With what I know now, yes, yes.
If that came to you and you saw that report, you would ground the airplane.
I would have.
Not second guessing what happened in the past, but today.
With what I know today, yes. With what I know today, but again, it's hard for me to go back and determine in those days what information. Yeah.
I'm just trying to set a similar story, but something that would happen in the future where you're.
And remember, you know, this document that we've been looking at is only a decision support tool. It is not the decision. The CARB comes together with subject matter experts, and certainly I would want to confer with them and make sure that we ran all the issues to ground on making a decision.
You would be on high alert, though, if that document was before you, and yes, you would ultimately ground the airplane, if I understood you correctly.
Well, again, knowing what I know now, I can't, it's impossible for me to go back. You know, I know a lot more now than they knew back then.
Thank you. The other thing, Mr. Dixon, I wanted to ask is that there was a Washington Post story last night that revealed that the FAA's plans to establish the Aircraft Certification Safety Program Management Branch. And apparently this is a new safety branch to address gaps in FAA's oversight following the accidents and will, quote, help improve understanding of systemic areas of risks and facilitate identification of emerging safety issues. I have to say I'm disappointed to read about it in the media instead of hearing directly from the FAA. Can you tell us why the committee was not made aware of it? And secondarily, how will this new office help ensure that the same mistakes are not made in the future?
So this actually is misreported, the purpose of this office. It's actually a reorganization that Mr. Lawrence had been looking at for, I think the organization had been looking at it for about 2 years, and he can give you the details.
Thank you for the opportunity to clarify that one. It was a misrepresentation of an email that had gone out by my staff. There is no new office. There is a Office of Accident Investigation that still exists and will continue, and there's not a change there. It was how I was organizing my folks, has been repeated several times here. There's always opportunities to improve our system, to do a better job on communication and the flow of information within any organization. And that was an email announcing that we were assigning somebody to look at how best to set up the flow of communication and safety information within the organization. So yes, we are taking action, but it has not been, it's not a new office, and certainly was not an approved organization of any kind. It was,
so you're evaluating a reorganization to be more effective?
It's part of a reorganization that was started 2 years ago, and making the tweaks and fixes as we go through that to make sure that we're covering all the issues that we should be in an appropriate way.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
I yield.
I thank the gentlelady. Representative Carbajal.